Okay, cool. Again, thanks for being with us this whole night and being watching all this tomfoolery. I have one more piece of tomfoolery for you, and I am going to start my presentation somehow the same way Tom started his. We did not coordinate this. When people ask me, or when they find out I work at Defector and they know Defector's deal, they generally ask me one of two questions. The first is, can I be friends with Drew? And the answer to that is no. I'm still trying to be friends with Drew. You guys can get in line. And the second question is, what is it like running a business with only bloggers? And I think most people are asking out of genuine curiosity. Some are asking out of shock and disbelief. But some, I think, they have their minds on starting a business their own with bloggers. So in the spirit of transparency, I am very happy to share all I know. So here is a step-by-step guide to building a business with bloggers for dummies. Okay, step one, find some unemployed bloggers. If you'll let me comment on the state of American media for a second, this is not a difficult step. You can probably gather them onesie-twosies, or you can wait for a private equity fund to fuck up bigger than usual, and then you might just find yourself with 20 bloggers. Okay, so you've identified your bloggers. Now you got to reach out to them. You got to tell them that you're a business person, but not like those other business people that they don't like. And so first, you send a really long email. Here is a screenshot of an email I sent to Barry, Tom, and Sammer in November. It was nearly 900 words. And I was trying to put my best foot forward. I was trying to seem impressive and professional. So I guess the best way to do that is describe myself as a non-asshole. Because like good guy would be like too high of a bar, but like non-asshole, like I'm going to clear that for sure. So at this point, you're still a rando, right? But you want to be a rando who knows their work. So you got to just explain, show some evidence that you know their work. Luckily for me, I had been featured in the Fun Bag the previous year. So I could link to that. Here is the full question text. Basically, I started picking my nose on the subway, which I agree is gross. You don't have to do that. Like that's on me. But then a guy started just clapping his fingers, snapping his fingers in front of my face like I was a dog. And so I wanted Drew's opinion on like who's the bigger asshole there. I was on the 456. This guy was wearing, it's like a 50-year-old guy wearing khakis and New Balance. If I see him again, I'm going to wipe a booger on his pants for sure. But, this worked out for me. Okay, so hopefully they'll reply back to you within a couple of weeks. So you want to try to be useful as quickly as possible. So first, you can just buy a round of beers. That works great. So in December of 2019, I met a handful of writers at the Gold Star Beer Counter in Prospect Heights. It's a wonderful beer counter. The most salient memory I have of that night is Laura Wagner saying that she really likes Rick and Morty. And then Sammer saying like, yeah, that's fine, but just don't talk about that too loudly or publicly. I think it's still pretty good advice for everybody here. And then, okay, you've bought a round of beers. Maybe call in some favors. Find some sponsorship dollars. You guys might recall the beloved sports blog, unnamed temporarysportsblog.com, came for 2 limited runs in early 2020, one of which was sponsored by the CBD brand Sunsoil. So who was the business genius over at Sunsoil who decided to put some marketing budget behind this brilliant stunt? It's this man. He's the general manager at Sunsoil. He also happens to be my college roommate and one of my best friends. So look, nepotism is business. It's a huge problem, except when it helps me personally. Then it's good. Okay, so now you got it in good with the bloggers. You got to decide what is the business you want to run. We decided we would do some good old-fashioned blogging supported by subscription revenue. That's not the only business we could have chosen. We could have done like a stunt food YouTube channel. We could have done a celebrity interview show. We could have done, how to explain this, Senate candidate impressions on Cameo. Or, we could have done the good old baseball card, writer, reviewer, stars of autoplay videos on previous websites, that sort of thing. Some of these could have been viable businesses. We settled on blogging. All right, and once you pick a business, you got to make sure the bloggers know how to use Google Calendars. Because this is a thing I did not know before I started at Defector, is that many bloggers do not know what time it is. They don't use a calendar. They have no internal clock. David Roth famously files his blogs after working hours on Fridays. He also responds to most of my emails after midnight. And the first time we met, I was leaving the office early at like 4:45 one afternoon. And as I was walking out, he walked in to hang out for like 45 minutes. So, you got to add some calendar discipline, okay? Everybody's got to use their calendars. This is still a work in progress. A lot of times people are just confirming that a meeting exists, and that's okay. We're just confirming. Sometimes people show up for meetings that do not exist. And that's okay too. The one that's sort of least okay is when we're talking about scheduling, I end up learning way more than I need to about how other people spend their time. And I do my best to react accordingly. But before you get to calendars, you actually have to make sure that everybody knows how to even log into their Gmail. Okay, so here is a chart of all the people who have locked themselves out of their work email and required an administrative reset since we started the company. Drew and Kelsey both have been locked out one time. Kelsey's the surprise here. She's the only person under the age of 40 who's going to show up on this chart. Dave McKenna has locked himself out 3 times, and Ray has locked himself out 6 times. The best of these Ray lockouts came this past February, and it started with me receiving an email with the subject line Rado. Very promising already. It came from Ray in a personal email address, and it asked me to send him the Zoom link to a meeting to his wife's email address. And the reason for this was that his laptop was getting a new keyboard, and also he was at the dentist. I mean, I don't know if we're still using this meme anymore, but this really, I was just Vince McMahoning this real hard. Okay, so the next step here, this is going to sound hard, but it's actually pretty straightforward. So you got to teach the bloggers a little bit of accounting, and then you sort of just, get out of the way. So there's a bunch of decisions around pricing and subscriptions and merch and events and podcasts and Twitch. And, like the bloggers, they'll figure it out, man. You just, let them cook, and hopefully it works out like it did for us. And so just as evidence that some of them have learned some accounting, here is Kelsey asking a very smart question about how we do revenue recognition for normal gossip subscriptions, which is great. Here is also Kelsey being mad that I ever made her learn accounting. So it's true, there's proof, bloggers can learn accounting. And finally, just to get a little bit earnest on Maine here, the last step is to be grateful to everyone who supports this business that the bloggers built. Because we really couldn't keep running this website without certainly all of you in this room. And so at Defector, we say eat shit as a sign of affection, because we can't just be vulnerable without some sense of irony. But so I will say to all of you, eat shit. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming out tonight. And yeah, see you at the bar.